just great. Now, when Malcolm said to me that the theme is We Create, the very first thing I thought about, I don't know if we're all would consider ourselves Christians or not, but I think many people might think immediately, if they think of creation and creating, of the first two verses in the Bible. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. It's just fantastic imagery. And I don't know if any of you know this book. This is Rob Lacey, The Word on the Street, and it's not a recognised Bible translation, but very often an accompaniment to a Bible. But it's brilliant language, because it's colloquial language, it's contemporary language. It's the kind of language that a lot of people out there can connect with. And what I love what Rob says as he's kind of like summarising these first few verses in the Bible. First off, nothing but God. No light, no time, no substance, no matter. Second off, God says the word, and what stuff everywhere. The cosmos in chaos, no shape, no form, no function, just darkness, total. And floating above it all, God's Holy Spirit, ready to play. I just love that, ready to play. And as I was kind of reflecting on all this, I had an out-of-the-box thought. And I was thinking that, the human body, the sort of average adult human body, I'm sure you know this, is between 50 and 65% water. It's more in young people and children, and of course it is dependent on age and gender. But I was just thinking that, as God was, there he was over the surface of the deep and these raging waters, and I'm thinking, you know what, we're an awful lot of water as well. So what might we be speaking over our own bodies? What might we be saying over the waters inside of us? And I was also thinking as well that, as many of us know, that the Greek thought process is very much compartmentalization, body, mind, soul, or body, mind, and spirit. But the Hebraic perspective, the biblical perspective, is much more whole. It's much more of a holistic viewpoint, and it's sort of like, it's the way that the body connects with the mind, and the mind with the spirit, and the spirit with the soul, and the soul with the mind, and so on and so forth. And the whole thing synergizes and acts as one incredible organism. And I was just thinking, actually, as I was in this class, I don't know if you call it a class tonight, but how everybody's body was just synergizing so magnificently, and there's such a, the body is such a great vessel for message and communication. We're so obsessed with this, with verbal expression, but actually our bodies are incredible vehicles for communication and for expression. Just going back to the Bible, if I may, again for a minute, I don't know if any of you know the Psalms, but if you look at Psalm 149, for instance, and you look at the build-up of the psalm, there's incredible movement in that psalm. And unfortunately, a lot of the translators have translated out throughout the whole of the Bible a lot of the movement meanings of some of the Hebrew words. For instance, if you look at Psalm 149 verse 2, let the children of Zion rejoice in their king. Rejoice is gul. Yes, it means rejoice, but it also means to spin. The movement of the Holy Spirit in dance. You can be absolutely sure that the early church, and of course, folks of the Old Testament, of course, the Jewish people, as they say to me, we dance like we eat. We've sort of kind of lost the whole dance culture in this particular culture, but it's wonderful to think of, of actually spinning. And then in verse 5, let the faithful exult in glory. Exult is a has. Now it means to exult, yes, but it also means to jump, to leap, to dance, to interpret. And I'm just sharing this with you because there's just such a lot of movement that we're missing. We're missing in our bodies. We're missing as our bodies connect with our souls and our spirits, and right there. And those of us who have a religious faith, that actually right there, the divine is with us so, so clearly in amongst all these incredible bodily sort of movements and expressions. And so the Holy Spirit, I believe, is hovering over the waters in us. What is he speaking over us? What are we speaking over ourselves? How are we connecting with the divine? How are we building our bodies so that our bodies can be creative messengers? And I was thinking, maybe as we're thinking in the future during this Lent challenge, that maybe we could start to think about our bodies as a clean, clear canvas, without any of the colours on it yet. What colours are we going to paint on there? What are we going to put on there? What are we going to say? Or a great mound of clay. What are we going to create sculpting-wise? Or wood? What are we going to make out of the wood? What are we going to speak over our deep? And we need creative imagination. And I think that's the thing I wanted to particularly say this evening, that it's about creative thinking in our bodies. It's recognising that our bodies are built for creativity. We're made in the image of God, are we not? We're made for creativity. And I was thinking as well, I couldn't do a lot of the, what do you call these things again, Malcolm? Squat, yeah, thank you. It's a bit different in dance. But, I couldn't get down to some of the squats, but I was just thinking, some of these movements, how much is that movement inviting somebody in? Who is God encouraging us to invite in? Come. And I was also thinking, of the sort of, in dance we've got here, a movement, position, coming in and then going out again. And you guys and young ladies, it might be more of this and this. And I was thinking, as we were thinking of this, what are we bringing into ourselves? What are we bringing into ourselves? What are we embracing? And what are we also just casting away? During this Lent time, is it time to embrace something? Is it time to cast away? So, and I also think as well that there might just be somebody here with this, that God might just be saying to you, you know what? I'm really there with you in those squats. Just lean on me. Just lean on me. So, let's be creative in our imagination, in our thinking, and the way we use our bodies as a messenger, as a mode of communication. And how are we speaking over ourselves? How are we connecting with the divine? Come on, let's play.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Erica. Brilliant. Really good.
It's a privilege to share.